welcome everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I am very slightly late because I was making some finishing touches to the things we need for the stream, but I think that is all done. Right, and I have just realized that there is a light I should have turned off and I didn't turn off. So I may have to very quickly just get up and turn that off. I also, yes. Okay, great. Okay, so that's the final touches done. So we're ready to crack on. I'm going to very quickly turn off this light and then we're going to get kicking. All right, nice one. Okay, so welcome back to another stream. So we've been doing a few streams recently, actually. So Wednesday did a reaction to the human extinction video, or you know, like antinatalist video / documentary type thing by Tim. That was cool. Did Danny Shine recently. The Leftist Cooks. Don't tell me about it. Don't remind me of the Leftist Cooks. Fuck me. And now we're on to this one. And then the next stream that's scheduled is what is the next stream that's scheduled? Oh yeah, the next stream that's scheduled is we've got Mega Antinatalist Street Debate. So that is going to be reacting to three videos, three parts of a mega video of a interaction I had in the street. And I want to react to those three videos because it's kind of like cool to see the story go throughout, but also there's some additional information I wanted to give to people that would have been weird for me to give in the individual videos. So I thought I'd do a stream reacting to them. So that's going to be the next one after this. And then obviously we have the, what do you want to call it? The upcoming 5,000 subscriber, which we still haven't hit. So, you know, I'm not over-egging the pudding. But, so I'm just getting the link now. So the 5,000 subscriber celebration stream, when that happens, that is going to be an Ask Me Anything stream. And it is going to, right, I'm posting the link in the chat. It is going to be a, Ask Me Anything fundraiser live stream. If you'd like to submit questions ahead of time, then please do. I've just sent the link in the chat. Oh, sorry. And yeah, I think that's all for the preamble. So basically, let me just get up what we're reacting to. So I thought today's going to be an actually a bit more sort of laid back stream. So let me show you what we're doing. So I'll share my screen. So this series, Adventures of an Antinatalist, is a cartoon series made 10 years ago. You can see by the upload. These are all the these are all the episodes. It actually does have a few more episodes. They're just not in the playlist for some reason. But I've got all the episodes, or all that I'm aware of. And what I've actually done is edited them all together. So it's just in one continuous video. So we're going to watch it like that. But this is an OG antinatalist sort of cartoon series, which I haven't watched, by the way. I've been saving it for ages to do a stream. I just never got around to doing that stream. And we're finally getting around to doing it. So, yes, and this series is by Glynos, who is a YouTuber who used to be much more active, but he's no longer active. But we still have this series from him. I did do a reaction to one of his series before, which was The Road to Antinatalism. That was probably one of the first live streams I ever did. I can't remember, but it was pretty early on. So if you go back to my older streams, you'll find that one. But yeah, that is what we're going to be reacting to. And this one's going to be more chill, you know, like this is just going to be like kicking back, watching the series because it's an entertainment series, but also I'm sure he's trying to convey like serious points. But yeah, it's a, you know, it's more of a relaxed kick back and watch stream. You know, I'm not going to be trying to give, you know, some extreme level of commentary or anything. I have even got popcorn, so we're going to be having some popcorn along with it. So I think that's everything. Let's see who's in the chat. So we've got Etruska in the chat. Etruska says, Adventures of an Antinatalist is the funniest stuff I've seen in the antinatalist community. We need more humor in the antinatalist community. So, you know what's quite interesting? I'll just quickly get it up, which is what many people have said. So actually, if you go to my videos and go to my oldest videos, let me share my screen. So this is my channel. You go to videos, oldest, and you see the oldest video. So the first proper video I put up was this one, which was me having a discussion / debate with Les Knight about whether in principle we should intervene in nature to help wild animals. So not antinatalist, but at that point, I don't think I'd really committed to solely focusing on antinatalism. You can see here, like I do an antinatalist video, but then this one is about veganism. It's at this point onwards, this point here, that's when I start just doing antinatalism. And then you can see, you know, some old videos here, but it goes all the way. But anyway, the first videos I ever released, actually, these three, and this one was pretty successful, 3,000. They were comedy videos. So I don't know if you know this guy, the Spanish laughing guy. He's a bit of a meme. So I made an antinatalist version. There's the full version. There's the abbreviated version. I would highly recommend checking those out. And then this is just a 30-second one of, again, another meme. But yeah, I basically made like, you know, I sort of put subtitles to them for a bit of antinatalist comedy. But yeah, so feel free to go check those out if you're a fan of antinatalist comedy. So, I think we can get cracking. So I actually haven't lined up the video properly, so I'm going to have to do that. There we go. Okay, so this is Adventures of an Antinatalist. Again, antinatalist sort of, I think a strong vein through it is comedy, but we'll see. It seems like, you know, Etruska is saying it's comedy, but yeah, I've been looking forward to watching this for a while. I've got my popcorn, so I think we can get stuck in. If you're in the chat and you haven't said hello yet, please do. There's also Mike in the chat and Yasin. So let's get cracking. I'm actually going to push the mic back a bit because while I'm eating the popcorn, I don't want you guys to have to hear me eating it the whole time. So let's go.
Yeah?
No, it's Dennis.
Oh, come in, man.
How was your class, Glynos?
Yeah, it was okay, yeah. Just taught present simple for the 8 millionth time.
Yeah, that's really annoying, isn't it? Here, one of your students just told me you don't want to have kids.
That's right, yeah.
Why is that then?
Well, I just think that having kids is kind of risky and selfish.
Oh, yeah, Glynos, I used to be like you as well.
Really?
Yeah, it's like you want to be out with the lads, you don't want to be like at home with a wife and kids.
No. That's not it at
So
all.
you haven't found the right woman yet then?
It's funny because so Glynos I'm pretty sure he's originally Welsh, but I guess from wherever you are in the UK, like there's a UK humor and like a way of saying things, and that's already coming out in like the dialogue here. So I don't know if that's going to carry over for like international viewers, but it's quite funny.
Is it?
No. It's like a philosophical position.
Does that mean like you're worried that it's like too expensive and that?
No. It just means that I think that having kids is wrong.
What do you mean it's fucking wrong?
Well, I don't want to go through the whole argument now, but I just think that if you put your ego to one side and look at it rationally, there's no real need for continuing this whole life cycle thing.
I actually don't think I said what the series is about. So even though I haven't watched it, my understanding is that basically it follows this character. I think Glynos has just named the character Glynos. I think this is Glynos's character. It's basically like an antinatalist going through their life, and the episodes are sort of everyday situations you'd find yourself in, but where antinatalism comes up, and it's basically trying to show the sort of frustrations of being an antinatalist surrounded by natalists in a natalist world, which is yeah. So I'm sure like a lot of people watching will find this relatable.
And by having children, you're kind of subjecting somebody to potentially bad things. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I do, Glynos.
Really?
Yeah. It's like you feel like you're not emotionally and spiritually mature enough right now.
No, it's not like that.
It's funny because when I've done antinatalist activism before, and we've been holding signs and stuff, you do get people come up to you saying that they agree, and you don't always know if they fully understand. Like this guy, he's kind of saying, you know, oh yeah, I used to be like that, stuff like that, but it's actually under a misapprehension. I think I've had a couple of times when people have said they agree, and then later down the conversation, it turns out actually they misunderstood what the message was. Often it's people just say they agree, but they never stop to talk, so you never know.
No, it is, right, because I used to be like that. I used to be just like you, Glynos.
Just like me, really. Well, why don't you tell me, Dennis, what the fuck do I believe and why?
You think it's like wrong to have kids and that?
And why?
Cause like you want to spend more time out on the piss with the lads and that.
Guess again, fucker.
Because you don't find love.
Last chance, fucker.
I know. It's about selfishness, Glynos.
Finally understand something.
Yeah, that's it. It's because you're too selfish and you want to go out on the piss with the lads and that.
Sorry, this popcorn, I saw it in the shop today. It's like a paprika popcorn. So it's good, but sometimes it's a bit it's got a bit of a kick. I mean, it's not super spicy. I'm like the whitest motherfucker you'll ever come across when it comes to spice. I really can't handle it often. But these aren't like insanely spicy. I think it's sometimes the dust is coming off them, and I'm inhaling it through my nose.
Previously.
So that was the first episode. So there's not going to be a clear, like an amazingly clear distinction between the episodes because I've literally just bunched them together in one video. So the whole thing in total is like an hour and 20 minutes. But, you know, there will either be these recaps between episodes or it will be like a change of scene. You know, it'll be in a different place, different situation. Welcome, Void Occupant, to the chat as always. What a top legend. Abalash, Anon, Prasad, welcome to the chat. Villain, Killing, Dylan. Fucking hell, that's a hard one to say. Welcome everyone to the chat.
On Adventures of an Antinatalist.
Abhilash is asking, as an antinatalist, what's your opinion on wild animal suffering? Do you want animals to continue to exist and let their cycle of suffering continue? Well, if you want to know the answer to that question, then you can ask that in the upcoming 5,000 subscriber celebration stream once it's scheduled and happening. I'll put the form again in the chat. But basically, Abhilash, I'm going to put a link in the chat and just submit your question there, and I'll be answering the questions. Clone Ganny's in the chat. Avi Duda is in the chat. Welcome.
Selfish, you want to go out on the piss with the lads and that. Want to go out on the piss with the lads and that. Want to go out on the piss with the lads and that.
Well, I shot Denise. Now I'm gonna have to turn myself in. Tell me again what happened. I've already told you. I shot Dennis. And what'd you do that for? Well, this is gonna sound strange, but we were having an argument about why I don't want to have kids, and... What do you mean you don't want to have kids? Like, I don't really think that's very important. No, I want to know why you don't want to have kids. Listen, officer, there's a man there, Dennis, lying down with blood all over him with a bullet in his head. Now, please, No, you listen to me, Glynos. You're going to tell me why you don't want to have kids, or I'm going to lock you up. Oh, no. Glynos? Okay. So it's like this. We have two options. Either we have children or we don't have children, right? Right. If you have a child, this...
Is my eating coming through the mic? What I could do is tilt it up slightly like that. Although I don't think that really has changed anything. Just if it is coming through, then tell me.
Despite your best efforts, you can't really guarantee its welfare. What do you mean? Well, statistically, 1 in 3 people are likely to get cancer, 1 in 4 will die of heart disease, 1 in 4 will be diagnosed with a mental illness, 9% will have diabetes, 74% will break a bone, not to mention homicide, road accidents, an economy on the brink of disaster, future food, water and energy shortages, the fact that one... Enough! What about all the good things in life? Like what? Like watching the sunrise? So do you really think that somewhere out there are swathes...
Fucking hell, watching the sunrise. If you think about it, like, people point to the good things in life, and like, I get it. Like, once you're here, there are good things that you can pursue and do, right? I don't think those are a reason to create someone. But once you're here, there are good things that you can do and pursue. But it's like, think of the best things and think of the worst things, and like, do they really compare? You know, like, what would be the worst thing, you know? Like, being in a concentration camp and watching your, life partner get killed, for a trivial reason. And then you're kicked into the dirt and later tortured, that's like fucking awful. And what are the best things that we can point to, Like, people have orgasms, a loving relationship. Like, a loving relationship can be amazing, but that's the very thing that will also bring the suffering, And it's like, some people might say, yeah, I'd rather have the loving relationship and then them, me go into a concentration camp, them get killed, and then I'm tortured. But it's like, first of all, none of those things are of value to a person who doesn't exist anyway. And also, like, you can weigh up the pros and cons and take that choice for yourself, but to take that on someone else's behalf, when it would be very reasonable to turn it down, those aren't insane odds. It's a wild one.
Of unborn children longing to look at a helium-hydrogen ball as our planet makes yet another pointless revolution. You think way too much about this stuff, Glynos. Well, you asked me why I don't want to have children, so I'm just telling you. Yeah, but all that stuff you said about the future and that. Yeah. Well, I think that if you just think positively about it, then everything will be all right. but that's just pretending and lying. Exactly, yeah. If you want to believe all that depressing stuff about the future and food shortages and cancer and that, then that's up to you. But I'm much happier just thinking it's going to be all right. Well, that's just fucking retarded. Well, you have your opinion and I have my opinion, Glynos. Now, here, what were you saying about that Dennis that you shot? Yeah, I shot and killed him after we had an argument. Nah. What do you mean, nah? Filing a murder case is much too much paperwork, boy. But I killed him. I shot his fucking head off. No. I'd much rather believe that the pistol fairies came and took him off to gun heaven. Huh. Really? Yep. You're free to go. Okay. See you later, officer. Cheerio, Glynos. I finally benefited from people's idiocy.
The Amazing Atheist.
Oh no.
Hey guys, I've got a new DVD out called
So that guy who Glynos just shot was a guy called the Amazing Atheist who don't really know much about him. I don't know if he still does stuff, but he was a YouTuber anyway. Maybe he still is. And obviously had some beef with Antinatalist or ongoing beef. I don't really know. And Glynos found him annoying. I know Glynos does have another video on his channel about the Amazing Atheist, or maybe a couple. I'm not too clued up on that drama. I don't know if anyone else is. This is episode 3, obviously.
Hello. What's happening, shit breath? Oh, hey. Mommy just told me you got into an argument with some boy about not wanting to have kids, shot him, and the police lay you off. Yeah, that's pretty
So for anyone that doesn't know, that accent he was just doing is a Welsh one.
unbelievable, isn't it? Fucking right it is. How'd that happen then? The police officer was some kind of solipsist. Fucking hell's a solipsist? It's just a kind of moron that pretends that real things are not real. Look, I don't care a fuck about that, but I want to know why you don't want to have kids. Oh, no. Can we speak about this later? You're right then, but you still coming over after a while? Yeah, I'll just get on a bus, and I'll be there in about an hour. Alright then, but I'll see you after, alright? Yeah, bye. Ta-da, bud. I heard you were pregnant again, Angela. Yeah. Congratulations, love. Thanks, Bert. That's alright, love. How many's that now, then? 7.
Fucking hell. Fuck me, 7.
You're fucking kidding me. I think that's bloody marvellous. Reckless cunt. Excuse me, mate. Yeah? Did you just call Angela a reckless cunt? Yeah, what the fuck is she doing, having so many kids? That's none of your bloody business, boy bach. It's just fucking ridiculous. 7 kids, 7 different fathers, no money, no job, the intellectual capacity of a plastic fucking spoon.
Fucking hell.
What hope do those kids have? Listen, bud, it's her life, right? She can do whatever the fuck she wants to. She can do whatever she wants to with her life, yeah. If she wants to live like a pig in shit, that's up to her. But should she really be making 7 other people do it?
Fucking hell, Glynis is going in on it. What was I going to say? Can't remember.
What's he saying, Bert? He wants to know why you have so many kids, Angela. Stupid.
Oh no, I think I was just going to say, it's just crazy that procreation is like a Wild West, you know? Again, this isn't me advocating for state authoritarianism. I'm just saying that, the reality that we live in is fucking wild. The fact that anyone can just, fucking fart out a kid, you know? No level of competency required. It's insane.
Boy.
And do it to as many as they want.
I know, I. Tell him it's 'cause all the cum to go up my cunt. I don't think that's what he means, Angela. Oh, innit? No, see, what it is, Angela, he's saying it's like not right that you have so many kids. Any kids, actually. You gotta have kids? Why? Why do you have to have kids? Tell me one bad thing that would happen if you didn't have kids. I'd really miss them. Yeah, but if you hadn't had kids, then they wouldn't be here now for you to miss. Yeah, and if they weren't here, I'd really miss them. Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to miss something that had never come into existence. I don't get it. Well, do you miss your 10th child, for example? I haven't got a 10th one. Exactly, so you don't miss it then, do you? I don't understand you. Just close your eyes for a second. Righto.
I feel like that is an accurate representation of talking to an average person about this.
Now think of one legitimate, non-selfish reason as to why a person is ethically justified in reproducing. Be aware that stating that you're able to do something isn't the same as justifying it, and also the fact that a lot of people do it and have always done it is also...
Okay, now.
Next stop, please drive. Hello, YouTube. So I finally arrived at my brother's place. I'm really dreading this. He has this tendency not to understand anything I say, and then to misrepresent it. This could get ugly. What the fucking hell are you talking to over there? Time to go inside. How come you don't want to have kids then? Well, I spent a few years reading and listening to different arguments, and the only two arguments for having children seem to be I can or I won't. Where do you find these arguments, then? Well, there are a few books on the subject, but mostly online. So you were saying you believe everything on the internet, then? You're a fucking idiot, but people on the internet believe loads of bullshit. Oh, no. Show me one of these arguments online, then. I'm not sure that's the best idea.
Welcome to the chat, Evil Roy. Welcome, No Soul, No Toll. Welcome, Kaz. Eric, Matteo. Welcome, everyone.
How come, man? I just don't think it's going to be your cup of tea. Nah, it's because you know, but... What do I know? You know I'll be able to fucking prove them all wrong, but... Okay, let me see what I can find. Okay, this is a guy called Derived Energy.
Approximately 3.7 billion.
So these are all going to be like OG YouTubers. So Derived Energy was an OG YouTuber who, my understanding is that he was the first YouTuber to introduce David Benatar's axiological asymmetry to the sort of YouTube scene. If you want to learn more about the sort of history of the recent online antinatalism, check out my interview with Amanda. Just type into YouTube the recent history of online antinatalism, Lawrence Anton, and it'll come up. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure we'll mention Glenlos in that, but we mentioned Derived Energy, and there's a bunch of other sort of like early YouTubers that are mentioned. So I'm sure a couple of them are going to pop up here.
Years ago, dormant.
Welcome to the chat, Jimmy M Experience and Zen Ape. Jimmy says, hi Lawrence and chat, sorry I'm late. No worries, Jimmy, at all. Just back from my antinatalist adventures. What were those adventures? What were you getting up to?
Energy/matter began to configure itself in such a way as to begin a process that would result in sentient organisms walking, falling, slithering and flying on or near the surface of this planet. This process was initiated...
Hold on. I don't understand a fucking word he's saying. Well, his accent seems pretty clear to me. He's using all those fucking big words, man. Show me someone else. Okay, this is Beardy Man.
There's a lot of these people
Beardy Man. The fucking...
cannot bring themselves to say anything against, or go with antinatalism, or say anything against mom. They just can't do it. There's a psychological block. You can hear it in Anton. He's moving up towards agreeing with Gary, but kind of...
I actually am not sure who this guy is. I might have been aware of him before, but I'm not sure now. Beardy Man. doesn't ring a bell. When he says Anton, he's referring to Corey Anton, I'm pretty sure. Again, I don't really know much about that guy, but yeah.
Bumps into Mom.
Ah, right.
And then
So what he's saying there then is people hate their mothers. No. I don't fucking understand any of it, but haven't they got anyone fucking normal on there then, or what? Well, there's this guy called Machine Ghosts. He seems pretty normal. Let's have a look at his latest videos. Doesn't seem to be anything about antinatalism there, sorry. Fucking hell, is this guy for real or what?
I feel like there's a joke there that you would have had to been around at the time to get.
of course.
So these are the people that convince you not to have kids? I suppose so, yeah. Oh, and Gary. Who fucking else Gary? You know, in Mendham. Ooh. Let me show you. Ah, this is a good one.
Human beings are need machines. You don't create the need, then you don't have a fucking problem. You don't have a need that needs satisfying. It's not that fucking complicated, asshole. We come into the world, we make the mess, and then we clean up the mess, and then we give ourselves a blue ribbon. That's bullshit. Alright, that's like a fireman who starts fires to justify his existence. Deal something with that analogy. Okay, deal with the fact that would it make any sense to have people who start fires just so they can get paid to put the fires out?
So hang on a second. He's saying then that no one should have kids. Exactly. You don't believe that, do you? I do, yeah. So that means you don't think I should have kids either then? Look, this isn't about you personally. It's just an ethical question. Nah, fuck you, but you said I shouldn't have fucking kids, right? That means you want to fucking kill my kid, is it? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Don't fucking lie, but I know what you said. I'm gonna fucking have
Stop!
you. Ah!
Fucking hell.
Hey. Hey, buddy.
Oh, you know that one where you've eaten popcorn, but you get a bit of it stuck in your teeth? Fuck me.
Alright there, mate. Well, I just got stabbed in the eye with a fork. But apart from that, I'm okay.
Talking of being stabbed in the eye, this is a throwback. When I was a kid, I don't know how old I would have been. I would have been like maybe 8 or 9, something like that. And I had a wooden play sword that, my parents had got me. And one day before school, I was sort of running around, playing with it, stuff like that. And I fell over. I'm pretty sure this is how it happened. I fell over and obviously put my hands out to go on the floor, but I was still holding the sword, and the sword was stuck upwards, and I stabbed myself in the eye, basically. Obviously, it was like a blunted sword. It wasn't like a really sharp tip because it's a kid's toy. So that day I didn't go to school. My dad took me to the opticians. It turned out I'd bruised my eyeball, which I didn't know was possible. But I remember that being the diagnosis. I don't know if diagnosis is even the correct word to use in that circumstance. But yeah, I'd bruised my eyeball. And talking of stabbing yourself with stuff, another time, which was so fucking stupid, we had a slide. I'll go full screen. We had a slide in the back garden at home, where I grew, the home in which I mostly grew up in. And we had like a kid's toy sort of slide. And my dad kept these sticks of bamboo in the garden. Not growing, they'd been cut and stuff like that, but they were still, fairly long. And I was running around with one and went down the slide and held it in front of me like this. And obviously I was a kid, I wasn't big. So the bamboo hits the floor first as I'm going down the slide and stops obviously, but I'm keep going towards it, and it got me up in there just under my chin. And obviously it scraped some of the skin away and stuff like that, but it was Lucky because it obviously hit something hard as well. If it had gone into a softer bit, that could have been pretty gnarly. But yeah, I don't know what I was on when I was a kid, but had a habit of doing this sort of stuff. Welcome to the chat, Anna. Good to have you as always. All right, I've stopped eating now. I think we're only on like the 4th or 5th episode, and I've already eaten all my fucking popcorn.
Okay. How are you? Yeah, I'm not too bad. Just got a broken arm. What happened? Well, I was riding my bike, right, and some nutter in his car crashed into me. That's bad luck. No such thing, mate. There's a reason why everything happens. Well, I suppose we do live in a deterministic universe of cause and effect, so notions of lucky and unlucky probably are a little bit short-sighted and a bit too human. You what? You were just talking about determinism, right? Nah, mate. It's all destiny. Huh? I reckon, right, that the universe has got a plan for all of us. Oh, no. Yeah, and this broken arm was put here to test my patience.
Fucking hell.
So were you put here to test my patience? Glenhouse James, please. That's me. See you later, fuckface.
Okay, that should do it. Now you should make sure you take the eye drops 3 times a day and change your...
So if no one's getting the reference, which you probably wouldn't if you're not from the UK, so Glynos is giving the doctor a posh accent here, or like an upper class accent, which is, it's not as much the case now, but like traditionally, the upper classes would have inhabited jobs like doctor and stuff like that, because they would have had a higher level of education and stuff like this. So that's the reference that he's putting there.
bandage daily.
Okay, Doc. So it's not serious then?
Serious? By God, no. Compared to some of the things I've seen, it's just a scratch on the knee.
Oh yeah? What sort of things have you seen then?
Amputated legs, decapitations, twisted, broken and shattered bones, victims of murder, people burnt to death. You name it, I've seen it.
Jesus, that's terrible. You must really loathe life sometimes.
What? Of course not, boy.
What do you mean? How can you not?
Well, it actually makes me appreciate life more.
What?
Yeah. Having seen such levels of human suffering, it makes me appreciate what I have.
You mean that other people's suffering makes you happy?
It's like this. If I have a problem, I think to myself, well, at least I haven't been raped and brutally beaten by 15 men like that 13-year-old girl that was here last week.
Fucking hell,
But
it's a
that's
low
just fucking
standard, isn't it?
sick. Surely that should make you more aware
It's a low standard, but I guess you've got to have a low standard if you inhabit this world.
of how brutal and unfair life can be.
Well, as long as it doesn't happen to me, that's the most important thing in life.
But why is your life more valuable than anyone else's?
Well, it's not. But it is to me.
But if you're going to evaluate life as a whole, you have to take the experience of the unfortunate into consideration too, no?
No, my life is fine. I'm healthy, I have money, I have...
But I asked you about life in general, not your life personally.
Yeah. Life in general is great because I'm healthy, I have money, and I have...
Oh, fuck you.
Glynos, I think being stabbed in the eye has traumatized you. You seem to have a negative view of life. So I'd like you to see a psychologist. So I understand you have a negative view of life, Glynos.
Oh my god, some woo-woo shit going on, I think. So, I recognise this guy. I'm not entirely... Does anyone know who these two people are? I'm hazarding a guess that might be Corey Anton, but I'm not entirely sure. This guy, I've no idea who that is. These are all references from back in the sort of earlier YouTube days, I'm not like... I'm not well up on everything now. Or well up on everything from back then.
I suppose so, yeah.
I see, yes. And did this start after you got stabbed in the eye with a fork, or before?
Before.
I see. Yes. And how long have you felt this way, Glynos?
A few years.
I see. Yes.
Sorry, could you stop saying I see yes? It's actually really annoying.
Interesting. Are you annoyed with me, Glynos? Or with yourself?
No, it's definitely with you. I'm fine.
I see. Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Glynos, I want you to know that this is a place where you can truly open up. If you want to swear, shout, or cry, you can do this here.
Okay. Thanks.
So, would you like to tell me why you're unhappy with your life?
I'm not.
But you said earlier that you have a negative view of life.
Yeah, life in general is a pretty moronic, chaotic, and unfair system, but I happen to get lucky with mine.
I see, yes. And why do you think life has been unfair to you, Glynos?
No, I don't. I'm fine. So far. We're talking about life in general here, not my life.
You know what? The music in the background is actually quite fitting because obviously you guys can't see this, but the sky, because I've got a window right here, the sky, because the sun is setting where I am, the sky has like a ripple of red through it. I'll try and take a photo and then show you on my phone. I don't know how good it's gonna be. Let's see. Oh, fucking hell. Can you guys see that? Is it going to focus? There, you see that? Oh, so I realized I'm not see that? Hopefully it focuses. Yeah, look at that. Sort of a ripple of red through the sky. Pretty cool. Maybe that was more effort than it was worth. Cool. Okay, let's continue. Oh, I need to go back. Go back.
I see, yes. I can see that you're a very intelligent person. So you mentioned your life is chaotic. How so?
Jesus fucking Christ. This is not about me.
Glynos, I think you have a problem with projection. You feel that life hasn't been fair to you, and because of this, you believe that life in general isn't fair.
What? No, it's the fucking opposite. If anything, it's unfair that I live such an easy life when so many other people are going through hell.
Interesting. So you do think that life has been unfair to you?
Oh, please try to understand before one of us dies. My personal life has been better because of life's unfairness.
Just a moment, Glynos. Thinks life hasn't treated him fairly.
What are you writing down?
Why are you so concerned with what I'm doing, Glynos? Do you have a problem with control?
If I had a problem with control, I would have stuck that fucking pen up your ass by now.
I see, yes. Glynos?
Oh my god, imagine if I think this series was all created, or at least predominantly created, before Jordan Peterson was a big name. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it'd be great if Jordan Peterson was in some of these episodes, because I feel like Glynos could have a lot of fun with that.
Concepts of fairness exist only in our minds. Do you understand this?
I understand it. You're just wrong.
Interesting. How so?
Well, it's like this. It logically follows that if two students take a course and both attend the same classes and both get the same result in a test, it would be fair to give them the same grade. Now, if the student with blonde hair was given a higher grade because he had blonde hair, that would be unfair. Based on logic, not based on any social conditioning or any other mush.
And did this happen to you at school, Glynos?
What?
Did you feel like the teachers preferred the students with blonde hair?
No, it's just an explanation of how the idea of fairness can be a logical construct that exists whether the idea is in a mind or not.
And how does this relate to real life?
It's an analogy.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. I think fairness is probably a social construct. I don't think it would exist as a concept unless humans were around. Might be wrong on that, but
I see. Yes. Go on.
like I'm pretty sure there's even like different conceptions of what fairness is in different cultures around the world. Yeah.
Well, I fell out of a vagina in the UK, so I'm rewarded with sufficient food, water, and healthcare. But most people who fall out of vaginas in the third world are punished with insufficient food and water and barely any healthcare. That's unfair.
But that's not how the world works, Glynos.
Exactly. That's why the world
I don't know who that guy was that just flashed up on screen.
is unfair, and that's why I have a negative opinion of life. You can't just write something down every time you lose an argument.
Glynos, why do you think we're arguing?
Stop changing the subject. Do you now understand the basic concept of logical fairness and unfairness or not?
This session is about what you think, Glynos, not about me.
But you can't just make up a bullshit claim, then change the subject after you've heard the counterclaim. That's not fair.
Glynos, I've already told you. Fairness is a concept that exists only in our minds. Do you understand this?
Oh no.
Glynos, are you familiar with Eric Berne's model of structural and transactional analysis?
Yeah, I'm even subscribed to Theremin Trees.
Good. Well, it seems like you're stuck in your rebellious child ego state.
I don't believe that to be true.
There you go again, Glynos. Disagreeing and refusing to accept the truth, like a rebellious child.
He's Kafka trapped him.
But it's you who's making
Stop blaming others, Glynos.
Oh no.
Now, I want you to stop looking at life through your eyes and start...
It would be so funny if there was video footage of him doing the voiceover for this, without the cartoon, just watching him do the voices.
thinking about it objectively.
Great.
Good. So as an objective adult, Glynos, describe what you see.
Finally. Okay, so putting human emotion aside, I see one thing that unites life.
Love?
What? No.
Spiritual energy?
What the fuck? Of course not.
Remember to be objective, Glynos. I don't want your rebellious child ego state to corrupt your clear, rational, adult ego state.
Okay. DNA.
DN what?
DNA. That's what unites all living things. To understand life, we should understand the function of the replicating molecule because...
Glynos, stop! This is absurd. Can't you...
I actually don't think it's DNA, right? Isn't it RNA? I might be completely misled, but I swear certain very basic living organisms don't have DNA. They only have RNA. I might be completely wrong there. It's been a long time since I've thought about that sort of stuff.
You see that your bias is making you see life this way?
Which way?
You see life and the world as only physical matter, and it clouds your judgment.
Well, what else is there except physical matter?
Glynos, this session is about you, not me.
Don't give me that shit. I say, as a fact, that we live in a materialistic universe. If you're gonna say otherwise, you're gonna have to prove why it's true, and not hide behind your stupid psychobabble fucking bullshit.
Oh, Glynos. Truth is an illusion about which one has forgotten this is what it is.
That's a Spinoza quote, isn't it?
Welcome to the chat, JB and Francis and Dr. Joe T. Velikovsky. I'm hoping I've said that last name right. And I think that's it for new people. If you are watching and you haven't said hello in the chat yet, please do. It's always nice to see who's watching. I'm also actually, while we are stopped, I'm actually going to put a poll in because I want to see who has seen or heard of Adventures of an Antinatalist before. Because I want to see... like, yeah, I always find it interesting how I sometimes take for granted that everyone is aware of the same stuff as me. So like there's certain things I see as like antinatalist, law or materials about or things that have happened in the past, all this sort of stuff, things out there to do with antinatalism, and not everyone is aware of the same stuff, and I consider something sort of like central to my experience of antinatalism, and other people are completely unaware of it, and I just find that so interesting. Welcome to the chat. Bovine, we've got Bovine Blue Stocking as always. Evie Eve, welcome to the chat. So it looks like so far, I'll publish the results, but it looks like so far it's relatively evenly split. Slightly more people did know about it than didn't. I'm also offended no one has mentioned the Joy Division jumper yet, because a while ago on my channel, basically last winter, when you'd wear, because I don't often get that cold, so I tend to not really wear jumpers. Actually, no, that's bullshit. I mean, I don't tend to get cold, but I do often wear jumpers, so maybe it's just because I'm prepared. I don't know. But anyway, I haven't worn this jumper since last winter. And I remember last winter and the times before when I've been wearing it, people have, mentioned like, oh, I listen to Joy Division, stuff like that. And it kind of became a bit of a thing with some people, but no one has fucking mentioned it. And it's the first time back for ages. JB says that they saw the jumper. Cool. Okay, all right. I'm going to publish the results. There's 18 votes. There's 37 people watching. If you want to do a quick last-minute vote, then please do. I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1, and I'm posting it. And I'm actually having to time this because there's latency. So hopefully it'll come through at the actual time. Oh, go on. Because now is the time that I'm actually doing it. And I've just ended the poll. So you will see... Oh, well done. We raise them to be warriors against evil. So... yeah, you will be hearing this, but have been able to see the results for quite a while. So it's 52% of people are have heard about it before. It's basically half and half. That is basically a Brexit vote. That is basically a Brexit vote. So yeah, I'm just always surprised that like there are certain things I've always known about Adventure of an Antinatalist. I haven't. This is the first time I'm seeing it, but I've known about it for ages, and I've always known it's like a relatively well-known series, or thought it was anyway. But anyway, we have a donation. Thank you so much, Bovine Blue Stocking, or shall I say, at least as it's coming up for me, Bovine Blue Stockin. And Bovine says, you watch too much Lawrence Anton of Lawrence Anton's channel if you find yourself giving a cheer every time he wears his Joy Division hoodie. Great live stream. Well, I was the only one giving a cheer this time, so clearly I watch too much of my own channel. But thank you so much, Bovine, and appreciate the banter as well. Welcome to the chat, Port Pariah. says, I miss Glynos, made really good videos. Like that you did a reaction on his videos. Cool. Okay, right. Let's get back to the series. Oh, and I need to change again. I always forget that.
No, Glynos. It's Nietzsche.
I'm pretty sure it's Spinoza.
No, it's definitely Nietzsche, boy. On Truth and Lies in an Extra-Moral Sense. Page 46 or 47, if I'm not mistaken.
Are you absolutely sure that that's true?
Why, of course, Glynos.
But I thought the truth is an illusion, about which one has forgotten that is what it is.
Playing these games with words is rather silly, Glynos.
Exactly. So let's stop fucking around and stop talking shit and let's talk about the truth, okay?
As you wish, Glynos. Let's begin. So you don't think we can justify having children, Glynos?
That's right.
Perhaps you'd care to explain...
You know, I know an antinatalist who went to therapy, and their therapist started debating them on antinatalism. So this, I mean, maybe Glynos has actually had this experience. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely has happened to at least some people, some antinatalists.
Why?
Actually, what would be interesting is if you're watching and you can be bothered to, and I hope you will be bothered to, write in the chat a bit about what your experience has been like being an antinatalist. Like, do you tend to share it that much? Do you tend to keep it to yourself? Do people positively receive it, negatively? Have you had interactions like we've seen in the series? You know, has anyone been to a therapist and they've, you know, it's sort of gone a bit badly, or did they take it well, or anything like this? That'd be interesting to hear.
Okay, but can we agree on something first?
And what would that be?
Can we establish that some states of being are desirable, whereas other states of being are undesirable?
But people have different preferences, Glynos. You may find eating broccoli desirable, but another person might not. So it's all subjective.
This is the annoying thing with the whole subjective thing of like, it's subjective, what's bad and what's good. And it's like, first of all, it isn't entirely. There are some things that everyone pretty universally says are good or bad. But even if it is completely subjective, the categories are not subjective. There are good things and there are bad things for everyone. And that's the annoying thing. It's a red herring to say, oh, everything is subjective, blah, blah, blah. Because it's just like, that doesn't matter. You know, whether the bad things for you are different to the bad things for me, it doesn't matter, you know. The harms you experience by having been brought into existence and the harms I experience having been brought into existence may be different, but you're still both experiencing harms, and that's the morally relevant thing. You know, I hear this all the time.
No, that means that some things are subjective, not that all things are subjective. People have a range of opinions about what food tastes good.
That's right.
Yeah, but there isn't a range of opinions on whether it's nice to choke or not.
What?
Nobody likes choking, nobody likes having a steaming hot iron shoved in their face, and nobody likes getting a fucking fork in the eye.
Where are you going with this, Glynos?
I'm just trying to establish the fact that some states of being are undesirable. Not that they're believed to be undesirable, not that they're considered to be undesirable, and not that they seem to be undesirable.
We've got a few in the chat. So Evie Eve says, I felt too bad to tell my therapist about antinatalism because she has kids. I mean, you know, obviously I can't comment. Your relationship with your therapist is something I know nothing about, and it's something you navigate. But I mean, my understanding is that therapists are supposed to be pretty open about talking, you know, about things, even if it's sort of personally confronting to them. But obviously, you know, your therapy is your own, so you do as you wish, and you don't need to bring it up. You know, there's no... yeah, but anyways, and then Francis says shrinks will, of course, always defend the system. Void Occupant says that they rarely mention antinatalism, not worth the hassle getting yelled at by people who will never get it. Linda says some like that, maybe. I'm assuming that's in response to choking. Yeah, I do think that's some people's kinks. Welcome to the chat, Linda, as well. Welcome, Charlatan, as well. Nice to see you, man. And Anna says, I started expressing these ideas to my brother, and he asked me, are you an antinatalist? He said, I only felt this way because I don't want to have biological kids, and he suggested it might be cope. That's a shame. Sometimes family can be the hardest. I've found, well, I was going to say I found that with veganism, but actually, like, none of my family are vegan, but I've made some progress. They're definitely very open to plant-based food. The ethics are maybe another thing. I mean, it's kind of case by case. Sometimes they're sympathetic on the ethics, sometimes they're not. Food-wise, they're a lot more plant-based than they would be, I presume, if I wasn't vegan. They cook a lot more plant-based now. But yeah, so I guess it's in the positive direction. But yeah, I haven't had success convincing any of my family to actually be fully vegan. JB says, I have always been open with everyone. Psychologists, godbrothers, family, friends, strangers. The only exceptions would be emotionally dysregulated, volatile nut jobs, which is fair enough.
But that they are undesirable. And what does this have to do with having children, Glynos? Well, if we can first establish that there are potentially desirable and potentially undesirable states, and then show how we can't guarantee a child's protection against the undesirable states, we can make the argument that it is bad to have children. But ideas of good and bad are subjective constructs of our mind, Glynos. In reality, there are only actions, and we shouldn't spend time worrying about some abstract value that us humans have invented. Oh no. There's no way you believe that. Just because you can't understand something, Glynos, doesn't mean that it's not true. Just admit it. Some things are bad. Oh, Glynos. What? Can't you see that you're too deeply into philosophy? What does being too deeply into philosophy mean? It happens when people feel disillusioned and rejected by society. Well, I didn't ask about how it happens. I asked about what it means to be too deeply into philosophy. Well, a person who is too involved in philosophy means that he or she is so involved in philosophy that it affects their levels of happiness. And why is that a problem? Because unhappy people have a tendency to carry out destructive behavior. But productive and destructive are just subjective ideas. They're not really productive or destructive, and really there's no difference between them in terms of importance, is there? Well, it's a matter of, I'm right though, aren't I? Constructive and destructive, it's all relative, isn't it? Well, you are right, Glynos, but so I can just do this and it doesn't really matter. Anton!
Oh my god, oh, okay, it was Anton then, because he's saying the name. There must have been some massive drama going on back then that I'm not, like, aware of, or maybe at some point I was aware of it and I've forgotten, but there's some hostility there, or it's like a joke. I don't know. I don't have the context.
No! What's wrong? It seems like you're placing value on subjective feelings, but we all know that subjective feelings have no value or meaning, so what's the point? You're a lying little duplicitous cunt.
Okay, now the savagery. Welcome to the chat, Lohar. Lohar says, whole food plant-based diet for the environment and health, vegan for the victims. Asked your city government to sign the plant-based treaty. So I'm less aware of what the plant-based treaty is. I'm aware of plant-based universities. I know a couple of the people involved, and that's been pretty successful. They're doing some good stuff. There's also plant-based councils in the UK, and there's actually a campaign for my local council. Well, my local council was actually apparently already committed to being to the plant-based council's demands or requirements, however you want to put it. But I actually, so that's my council, but I actually spend a lot more of my time in a separate council. And so I mean, it's overblowing it to say I've been helping. I went to one sort of outreach event they did where they were trying to get petitions, signatures for a petition. And that was for plant-based councils. But yeah, I don't know how much success they've had in like all the different councils around the UK. But thanks for that, Lohar. Charlatan says, I feel like veganism triggers family more than antinatalism, but maybe that's different with religious types. I mean, honestly, it's every family is different, you know? Like, some people, food is this sacred thing, and veganism will trigger the shit out of them. And for other people, you know, having kids is this sacred thing you can't question it, and it will trigger the shit out of them. So, I mean, to be honest, both of them trigger a lot of people. But, yeah, I think it's sort of like touch and go which one triggers who more. Yeah. Welcome to the chat, Arpit. Cool. I don't think there's anyone else new.
What's your news then, lad?
That's so strange. That looks like... I was going to say it looks like ABBA, but I'm actually really just saying that because of these two. And that might even be a woman. But he looks like, I swear, one of the people from ABBA, right?
I'm pregnant!
Look at all their smiling faces, and then Glynos is there. Welcome to the chat, Video Game Bar Space Station. In Japan, it's 2 a.m. Commitment. Thank you so much for joining Video Game Bar Space Station. It's Sage is also here as well. Welcome to the chat, Sage. Yeah, Jesus. I mean, I've had this, you know, where someone announces they're pregnant. I just obviously if it happened one-on-one, there's no getting away from it. But like when it happens in a group, I just kind of stay silent. I don't go either way, because it's just like, why cause drama there? You're not going to do anything, you know. You're not going to have an impact, or you're very unlikely to. So yeah.
Hey! Aw, isn't that lovely? Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations, love. That's great news.
Some of these accents that Glynos is doing are so funny.
Congratulations, Bev. There's nothing better than a new life. That's a miracle, that is. Glynos, isn't he lovely? Well, I don't want to be rude, but I'm just not going to say anything. Oh, don't be like that, man. Ah, that's right. You're an antinatalist, aren't you, love? Come on, forget about all that philosophy rubbish and just say congratulations. Rubbish? It's not rubbish. Look around you. Bringing life into this world is insane. Want, need. That's all life is. We convince ourselves that we're accomplishing something, but really we're not. We're just running on a treadmill trying to satisfy our wants and needs. And if we stop chasing, we die. And then when we get what we need, the treadmill stops for a brief moment and then starts back up again.
Fucking hell. Talk about being a fart in an elevator. Jesus Christ. Welcome to the chat, Neroda, as well. I mean, I've never done this when someone's announced a pregnancy. I just always keep quiet, keep it factual, stuff like that. I don't say positive things because it's just like, it just wouldn't be genuine.
If you're dumb enough to enjoy the process, fine, but don't keep putting more people on the treadmill for them to end up worn out, tired, and finally dead too. You are such an attention seeker. I know, so lame. He thinks he's so smart and edgy. He's just trying to be different. Well, who cares about the messenger and their motivations? Can you give any good, non-selfish reason for having children? Glynos, why are you trying to cause an argument again? I'm not, but you tried
Such an attention seeker, mate.
What could be interesting if people put in the chat, like, how would you react to this situation? So if you were in a group setting and someone announced that they were pregnant, and okay, it wouldn't be exactly like this where they wouldn't all look at you, but people were generally saying like congratulations and stuff like this. Like, how would you navigate that situation?
Oh, fuck this. I need to eat.
Ah, a new vegan restaurant. Looks pretty good. At least vegans are on the right track when it comes to reducing suffering. I mean, I know a
Oh, that's so funny. He's actually taken a picture of a vegan restaurant.
lot of them are pretty annoying Gaia lovers, but how bad can this place be? Let's check it out. Oh, this fucking music.
So, got a couple of people saying what they would do in that sort of group situation. So JB says, I just say, I hope it works out for you. Yeah, like some people do the whole thing of like, I wish the child were, child-centered comments. Like, I wish the child well. I hope the child is born safely, or I hope the birth, everything goes correctly or whatever. Clone Granny says they don't say anything. Linda doesn't say anything. Video game. I'm gonna call you Video Game from now on, because it's a long name. Says that they would just say congratulations or nothing. Neroda says, I try not to pretend around people. I wouldn't say anything, maybe just nod. Bovine Blue Stocking usually says good luck. Yeah, I mean that's also a decent one. Evie stays quiet. Charlatan says, I'm happy for you, but sorry for them. But only if I feel like they can understand it. Otherwise, it's pointless. Yeah, like if they're a friend you've got, that they're kind of aware of your views, maybe even not in detail, but just like mildly, then I could see myself saying a similar thing of like, I don't know if I'd say I'm happy for them. I guess I would just say like I'd say I hope it works out the way you wish it to, because I guess I don't know how I'd like rationalize that, but I guess that's the way like I'd put it. Because it's like they have this idea in their mind of like it's going to really, make their life much better, and they're going to have this amazing relationship with the child, which, is not always going to be the case, but that's the idea they're going to have in their head. And so I hope it does go like that. Now it's going to happen. I hope it does go well, and you get from it what you want. It's Sage says use verbal judo. Prasad says stay quiet. Yeah, Charlatan says that they had that with their brother. So is it? Yeah, that makes sense. And Etruska says they would say good luck. Yeah, I think that's a fair one. Like good luck, it might come across as a bit weird to them, but I think it's pretty inoffensive.
Do you mind if I sit here?
No, go ahead.
It's so cool that there are more and more vegan restaurants now, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes things a lot more convenient.
Yeah, sometimes it's annoying being around dumb people and having to justify yourself every day.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I mean, I'm not saying vegans are necessarily more clever, but at least they can make the simple equation that if you can avoid harming things, you should do so.
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand how people don't get it.
Humans are just so dumb sometimes. Once they believe something, they're just so reluctant to change their opinion. It's like their brains go into a defense mode as soon as they hear anything remotely controversial. And they have a...
She's definitely about to become all the things that she's saying are bad.
complete disregard for reason. Then they start misrepresenting your argument to make themselves feel better and make bullshit, it's all subjective though arguments. Huh. I'm Glynos, by the way. I'm Bella. You know, I know it's a controversial thing, and I hope you won't just go into that stubborn defense mode we just spoke about, but I
Oh, maybe not. Let's see what she's going to say.
honestly think that the world would be better off without humans. Better off without humans. Better off
His trousers just got a bit shorter.
without humans.
That's funny. I thought it was going to go the complete opposite way, and it looks like Charlatan and Etruska did too. So they said incoming facepalm, incoming disappointment. I also thought that, but she's pulled it out the bag.
Wow, me too. No way, really? Yeah, I even make YouTube videos about the subject. Wow.
What was that thing that just flashed up?
Me too. No way, really? Yeah, I even make YouTube videos about the subject. Wow.
It was too fast. I'm not going to fucking catch that, but I don't know what that was.
That's so cool. People don't get it, but if all humans died out, nature would go back to how it was before.
Charlatan says, had so many conversations with vegans about antinatalism, and they made all the appeal to nature fallacies they criticize on non-vegans. Yeah, exactly. Like, I find a lot of the pushback against antinatalism like fairly heavily reflects the pushbacks against veganism. And when it comes from a vegan, it's often like, yeah, sometimes baffling because, you know, they're employing the very character of argument that they mock on a regular basis. And yeah, I just, you know, I don't know, I just don't get it. It just seems so obvious to me that the pushbacks for both positions are fairly similar in quite a lot of ways. So you've got like, what if you're on a desert island? You know, what if the only pain in the world is stubbing your toe, or you're in a utopia? This sort of stuff, you know, taking an extreme example, stuff like this that's not based in reality. Appeal to nature, appeal to biology. You know, I've got a dick and balls, or I've got canines, all this sort of stuff. You know, what if we could do it humanely? What if we could, you know, give someone a good life? All this sort of stuff. Yeah.
You know, with all the animals living in harmony. Oh no. You know.
Oh no, this is where she falls down. She has a rosy view of nature. Oh, she was doing so well. Oh, Glenos, he's not going to get his girlfriend.
Like before the Industrial Revolution, when nature was pristine. Everything was just perfect. And suddenly humans came along and ruined it all. That's insane. But I thought you agreed that humans had a
So she's like voluntary human extinction movement type person.
terrible effect on the planet. Well, yeah, humans have done nothing better to add to the horrific story of life and have made it even worse. But it's insane to think that the animals were even better off before that. But look at the statistics. Look at how many extinctions humans have caused. And look at all the pollution and deforestation. I know that humans have done everything they possibly can to fuck the planet. But what was there before that? Hundreds of
And fuck the planet they have.
millions of years of billions of sentient life forms eating each other, starving to death, dying of cold, hunger and thirst. What was so great about that? But that's nature. Humans are destroying it.
There was a quote I saw the other day. There's a YouTube channel which some of you may know called Metaphysical Exile. I don't know if any of you guys know. If you know of Metaphysical Exile, then say in the chat. It'd be interesting to see. If you don't, definitely look him up. So he basically does video and regular, so he does like regular essays, but he creates video versions of them, like video essays around, I would say, pessimism in general. He does talk about antinatalism fairly frequently, but it's more accurate to say that they're like pessimist, philosophical pessimism video essays. And, they're very, he speaks in a very sort of fitting way with some fitting music in the background and stuff like this. And so they're quite aesthetically pleasing to watch as well and listen to. But the most recent one he did was called Nature's Unluckiest Children or something like that. And there was a quote at the start, and this point just reminded me of it. So let me read it out for you. So the quote is from Charles Darwin, and it goes like this: that there is much fucking hell, I've already fucked it up. That there is much suffering in the world, no one disputes. Some have attempted to explain this in reference to man by imagining that it serves for his moral improvement. But the number of men in the world is as nothing compared with that of all other sentient beings, and these often suffer greatly without any moral improvement. A being so powerful and so full of knowledge as a god who could create the universe is to our finite minds omnipotent and omniscient, and it revolts our understanding to suppose that this benevolence is not unbounded. For what advantage can there be in the sufferings of millions of the lower animals, I'm putting in the scare quotes there, throughout almost endless time? So I guess there's a few things there, right? So there's a point on, some people talk about, well, you can build character from suffering and it's a way to grow as a person and stuff like this. Well, first of all, not all humans can do that, like you can have an elderly person, for example. They've basically done all the growing they're going to do. Maybe their brain is deteriorating. They're not going to be growing. They're going to be receding from now on. Suffering that happens to them, what benefits coming from that? It's just gratuitous, suffering. And like people who are, have some, are like, I'm not using this in a derogatory way. I just mean like mentally retarded, just as a matter of fact. These people cannot, they would not be able to utilize that suffering in a way that could be of value to them. And obviously other animals as well, right? Maybe there would be some instances where animals can grow from suffering. You could maybe get that with sort of like the more the animal, the species with more like more cognitively complex species like orcas or the apes maybe. But the vast majority of animals like that are sentient, they're not going to be able to in any significant way benefit from their suffering in terms of growing their character. You've obviously also got like the addition of wild animal suffering to the sort of problem of evil in that quote. And there was another thing as well which I forget. But we can get back to it. I just wanted to take that short interlude and let's see if anyone actually has heard of Metaphysical Exile. So Francis has heard of Metaphysical Exile. Nice one. Welcome to the chat, Runa. Runa's just joined the chat. And it looks like Etrusker is aware of Metaphysical Exile as well. Cool. Yeah, if you're not aware of his stuff, definitely go check his channel out.
But nature's indifferent to suffering, in the most evil way. The problem is suffering. What causes it is irrelevant. The problem is inherent in sentience. So what? We just kill everything? That's insane. You're doing what you criticized meat eaters for. No, I'm not. Fuck you. You think you know everything. No, I just know that suffering is a waste and that life isn't accomplishing anything positive. That's so controversial. I'm really offended. Vegans are supposed to love animals, not want to kill them. I didn't say I wanted to kill them. And who are you to say what's right and what's wrong anyway? You think you're some kind of god? Humans made up morality anyway. Nature is what it is, and you can't say that it's objectively good or bad just because it's your opinion. But that's what the meat eater... Fuck you, you evil ginger attention-seeking cunt!
Oh no. He went from potentially thinking he's got a girlfriend to getting some water thrown over him.
Can I interest you in yoga classes, sir? Oh, fuck off!
I can imagine back then, like, you know, vegan restaurants are a bit more mainstream now, but I can imagine back then they were full of yoga-loving people, you know. I got nothing against yoga. Like, sometimes I've been known to partake in yoga, but I can imagine the sort of woo-woo spiritual world was sort of boom together with the vegan world. But it's more separated now. What's going on? Oh, there we go.
You wanted to see me, boss? Yeah, it's come to my attention that upon hearing about Shannon's pregnancy, you behaved very rudely to her. I wasn't rude to her, I just didn't congratulate her because I didn't think there was anything worth congratulating her on. But she's pregnant! Yeah, I know. I know, and I know that people automatically respond to that news with positivity, but on careful reflection, is it really good news? But she's pregnant! Yeah, I know that she's pregnant. I just don't think that having a baby is necessarily a good thing. But you've known Shannon for years. Yeah, so? So you should be happy for her. Why?
Okay, now.
Glynos, you're not very bright. Because she's gonna have a baby. Oh, no. You know, Glynos, I used to be just like you. Really? People keep telling me that, but then show a complete lack of understanding of what it is that I actually believe. No, Glynos, I understand. You think that having a child is cruel. Yeah, that's right. You think that the world is a cruel place. Yeah, I do. You think that any child brought into existence will inevitably suffer and die. And on the balance of things, it's a pretty stupid and selfish act to impose that by creating new life. Wow, you actually get it.
Etruska and Nadia, I see you guys are conversing in some non-English language. What language is that? Which country do you guys come from? Obviously, you know, please converse in whatever language you like. I'm not here to dissuade you. I just was interested.
That's right, Glynos. But you have kids yourself. I told you, I used to be like you. I used to understand your way of thinking, but I overcame that. You see, Glynos, when people think they're right, they don't consider the opposing points of view. Are you open-minded, Glynos? Absolutely. Well, at least I think I am. So if I present a rational argument against your position, one that shows that it's not only not unethical to have children, but that we all have an ethical duty to reproduce, will you change your mind? Of course. I have to warn you, though, I've searched high and low for arguments against antinatalism, and all I seem to find are, I want to, and I can. But what of the more philosophical criticisms? Oh, selective nihilism and blind optimism. Oh, Glynos, it seems to me that you're intentionally seeking out the poor arguments against antinatalism, just so you can dismiss them and feel more assured of your position. Well, let's not turn this into a therapy session. The last time I had one didn't go so well. So what's this bulletproof argument of yours, then? Listen very carefully, Glynos.
I bet it's going to be there are good things in life. It's going to be something like that, isn't it?
I'm all ears. Are you ready? Yeah, just fucking tell me already. Well, here goes. Right. If no one had children, eventually, we would go extinct.
Ah, fuck, I didn't get it.
Very good throw. Oh no. You're serious? Think about it. What the actual fuck? Why would that be a bad thing? Do you want everyone to die, Glynos? Well, we're all going to die anyway. Having kids doesn't stop that. Yes, it does. No, 100% of all people will die. But if humans keep having kids, the Earth will always be populated with humans. But why is that a good thing? Because then we won't all have to die, stupid.
Welcome to the chat, Krill, and welcome Luca as well. And also, I don't think I said welcome to Nadia properly. And also, I see Robert Watkins is in the chat as well.
Oh no. Listen, here are two truths. Firstly, all life is going to go extinct. Eventually. Secondly, the longer it takes for us to go extinct, the more suffering there will be. What good can compensate for that suffering? You're just being closed-minded and negative, Glynos. Well, forget about the messenger and just answer the question. No, I won't dignify your trick question with a response. It's full of logical fallacies for a start. Which logical fallacies? Well, you know, the appeal to reason. Now get back to work, and I want you to apologise to Shannon. Oh.
Shannon, if you were offended by my not being happy for your being pregnant, then that's a shame. You were very rude to me. Well, I really wasn't, but look, I don't want to argue with you. I want you to congratulate me. What? I don't know if that's really... Congratulate me, or I'll start crying and...
Oh my god, the entitlement.
Get you fired. But that's totally unreasonable. Now... Shannon, consider getting an abortion. Please, do yourself, the world, and that potential child a favour, and just get the fucking thing terminated.
Okay, now.
Fuck. I saw that child-free meme you posted on Facebook the other day. It was pretty funny. Yeah, thanks. It was a good one. So, are you really child-free? Yeah, well, actually, I'm an antinatalist. Does that mean you're one of those we should deny our programming and go extinct types? Yep. I just think if anyone thinks about it rationally, they would realise that there are no problems.
Is he wearing stilettos? You rock that, Glynos.
Problems with not having kids, and having kids opens the door to all kinds of risks, you know? Nah, that's dumb. We have to take risks. I mean, you took a risk getting to work today, right? Well, yeah, but I'm a player already in the game now. I mean, it's pretty much impossible not to take risks. I just don't think we should make new players in the game. But we can only ever make progress through taking risks. Yeah, I mean, like I said, for people that are alive, that's probably true, but the risks are only really justified because the consequences of not taking those risks are worse, right? What do you mean? Well, let's say I'm in my house and there's a shop across the road. I can risk crossing the road in order to buy things that I need. I'm probably not going to get run over, and not getting those things would result in going hungry or thirsty, so the risk is justified. That's so reductive. What do you mean? I mean, it's such a negative way of looking at life. That's not what reductive means. Jeez, you're such a killjoy. Well, I was just answering.
He's just literally explained the reasoning that people are implicitly sort of doing when they, or unconsciously doing, and he's just like laying it bare. It's bizarre.
Answering your question, you brought this up. Listen, life is great. It's fun if you want it to be. Well, sure, if you can find enjoyable things in your life, fine, great. So if you can find enjoyable things in your life, then you should want to have kids and give them the enjoyable things. Well, no, you're mistaken there. The problem is that things are only enjoyable to you because you have needs. Beings which don't exist don't have needs and aren't missing out on any fun. That's so reductive. What do you mean? It's like you're only focusing on the negative things. That's not what reductive means. And no, just because I'm giving due respect to the negative outcomes of having children doesn't mean I'm focusing too much on the negative. I just think that if we give a rational amount of consideration to the negative consequences of reproduction, then we would just see a couple of simple truths. Firstly, that I'm not doing any harm by not having kids, and secondly, that having kids in the best case scenario guarantees harm, and in the worst case scenario imposes unbearable levels of gratuitous harm.
You're like Sherlock Holmes with your powers of reduction. Oh no. Look, you can't just say that something is reductive every time you don't like an argument. Ah, come on, bro. Chillax. What? Chillax. It's a combination of chill and relax. But they both mean the same thing. You're such a square, Glynos. You need to learn how to have fun. Oh, no. Look, I have enough fun. Thanks. If that was true, you wouldn't have this negative outlook on life. Well, that's just not true. I mean, me having fun doesn't change the fact that this planet is on fire, and billions upon billions of sentient organisms are screaming in pain for no reason. I mean, sure, I could have fun and not think about it, but that wouldn't change the facts, would it? There you go again, always talking about the negatives. Yeah, there are some problems on this planet, but there are good things too. Well, I'm personally of the opinion that there is no good here. I mean, the most intense feelings we experience are ones of relief, right? I imagine breathing oxygen after being suffocated for almost 2 minutes feels pretty good, or getting a hit if you're a heroin addict. But even if I grant you that there is good on this planet, do you really think it outweighs the bad? Well, I'd say it's about equal right now, Glynos. And that's why we should have kids, so that we can make the world a better place. I mean, if we don't have kids, then how can we possibly make it a better place? Equal? You've got to be fucking kidding me. I mean, I'm not sure there's anything on this planet that makes up for just one child getting cancer. Ah, come on. I mean, look at a child's face on Christmas Day when she opens her presents. I mean, that more than makes up for one child getting cancer.
Fucking hell.
Just that one child? Are you trolling me? No, I'm not. So you're saying if you had a button which, when pressed, produced 2 new children in the world, one would have a nice Christmas day and the other would suffer cancer, you would press that button? I would, aye. And you really think that that constitutes an overall positive? Aye. The magic of Christmas is intangible. I mean, sure, the child cancer isn't positive, but I believe that suffering is voluntary anyway. Oh, no. Wait a second. Why does this always happen? A simple thought experiment leading to all kinds of fucking nonsense. Why would a child with cancer choose to suffer? Don't you think it's more likely that the child is a biological animal and pain and suffering is a motivator for that animal to act, or a signal that something in its organism is wrong? Aye, well, maybe if it's a child, but still, I think the magic of Christmas still outweighs the bad of cancer, because that child will die, and it will be sad. But the parents can always have another child, and that other child will get to have lots of Christmases. So, in effect, you're pretty much in favour of gang rape then, right? What? What do you mean? Well, you know, statistically, 9 out of 10 people enjoy gang rape, right? So as long as 9 people are happy, fuck the one person that's suffering.
Pretty sure that's Jimmy Carr joke as well.
Does it make it okay? Well, you know, but, I mean, if you're like a utilitarian, I suppose, then aye, it probably does, aye. So what, if it made me super happy to, you know, say, kill someone who was really pissing me off, then I would be justified in doing it, right? Well, only if that person were really annoying, Glynos. Okay then.
How many people has he killed?
Glynos, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just reducing the oxygen supply. That's so reductive! I'm really sorry. I mean, I didn't choose to be like this. It just so happens that watching you suffer and die brings me all kinds of pleasure, and, you know, weighing it up, this pleasure that I feel watching you die, I think it outweighs the suffering that you feel. I suppose you've got a point, actually. Ugh.
Fucking hell. What was that noise at the end? That sounded like an elephant.
Hello.
Hiya.
I like giraffes.
Okay.
Count to 10 for the man, Jack. No, I don't want to. Go on, Jack. He's a policeman. He'll take you to the police station if you don't do it.
I'm not a policeman.
Yeah.
Why would someone randomly get their kid to count to 10 for a stranger? That's so bizarre. Welcome to the chat, John. John says Gillinos has produced a great video here. Smart, funny. Definitely a good series.
Yes, he is, Jack. Come on, do it. But I don't want to.
Look, he doesn't want to. I don't want him to. It's only you that
You fucking do it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 10. Yay! There's a clever boy. Mummy's boy.
He just repeated what you...
All the doctors say he's really advanced for his age.
Okay, then.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
You probably feel like you're not ready yet, do you?
No, it's not that.
Oh, no luck with the ladies, is it?
No, it's not that either.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Do you have, problems down there?
Down where? No.
It's such a bizarre conversation that would not happen in real life.
Just choosing not to have children.
Although, to be fair, how many of these conversations would actually happen in real life? Some of them would actually, like, a lot of them are relatable, but, like, obviously, like the police officer one near the start and stuff.
What? Why?
I'm not sure this is the best place to have this.
How could you not want to have children? They're so cute.
I just don't know if something being cute is a good enough reason to impose life.
Impose? How dare you? You make it sound like life is a bad thing.
Well, like I said, I don't think this is the place.
Having a kid was the best thing to ever happen to me.
Okay, then.
I mean, before that, I was just like you, irresponsible and selfish. But having a kid has really taught me a lot.
Well, don't you think that having kids is a bit irresponsible and selfish?
How fucking dare you? A mother can never be selfish. The amount of pain we go through in childbirth, the amount of sleepless nights from the baby's crying, and the amount I worry about him. Oh, it's enough to make me sick. You don't know how hard it is to be a parent.
But you just said it was the best thing ever to happen to you.
And it's
Yeah, and it's something you voluntarily take on. No one's forcing you to do that.
so expensive too. You have no idea how much the nappies and baby food costs. I mean, it's criminal that nappies and baby food are not free.
Well, you didn't have to have the kid.
How can you say such a thing? If I never had a kid, little Jack wouldn't be here now. I couldn't bear the thought of him not being around. The world would be a much worse place without my little Jack.
Okay, then.
He's so smart.
Okay.
You are such a fucking wanker.
What? Why?
Because here I am telling you about my child, and you don't seem to care.
Well, why should I have to?
He can read the alphabet and he can do maths. Oh, he's so special.
Okay.
Oh, just having him around is such a pleasure. You have no idea on the joy that you were missing out on.
Well, I'm happy for you. Fine.
Jack, get your fucking finger out of your fucking nose now! Shut up! I said shut up!
Whoa, lady,
Fucking
you can't
hell.
just beat your kid because he's crying.
Fuck you! You don't know what it's like! You don't know how hard it is!
You were just talking about all of the joys.
He never fucking listens to me and he always cries!
But that's what children do. You can't just hit them because they...
It's the only language they understand!
But there are so many other ways to discipline
How the
a child.
fuck would you know? You don't have any kids!
Alright. What's going on here? This woman is hitting her kid just because it's crying, and I'm just trying to stop her.
Oh, that is an outrage.
I know, right? How can you beat a defenseless child just for...
No. I mean, it's an outrage that you're sticking your nose into someone else's business.
I think someone assaulting a child is my...
The idea that, like, you're entitled to slap someone or physically assault them because you're like genetically related to them is wild. Like, it's interesting. I guess it's part of that. So for those of you who don't, so there's a YouTuber called Tofu Dog, and she, I watched a live stream she was on the other day, and she was talking about this idea of childism, which is sort of like the, like racism, sexism, blah 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 blah. There's childism, and it's basically the marginalization of children. People feeling, entitled to treat them in ways that you wouldn't treat anyone else. So, i.e., being able to like physically hit them, stuff like this. I can understand physically like holding your child, because if they run out into the road or something like that, you would do that for anyone else. But like slapping them because you're annoyed, obviously this is not okay. Cool. Welcome to the chat, Louis. And welcome Ragsy as well.
Business. And he doesn't even have his own kids either. Thinks he can tell people how to look after their own children.
Listen, mate, let me give you a piece of advice. If someone doesn't ask for your advice, keep it to yourself, alright?
But you just gave me advice. Advice without it being asked for.
Are you trying to be funny?
No, I'm not. I just think everyone needs to calm down. People just shouldn't be free to assault their children.
I fucking told you once, I won't tell you again, alright?
So you're perfectly fine with someone just assaulting a defenseless...
There, that'll fucking teach you.
Alright. What's going on here?
That woman was hitting a kid, and then when I protested, that man hit me.
That is an outrage.
I know. I mean, aren't you going to arrest them?
What? No. I mean, it's an outrage that you think you can tell the parents what to do with their own children.
Oh, no. And he doesn't even have children of his own. Thinks it's wrong to impose life.
These people today, they don't even know they're born. Maybe if your parents had hit you when you were younger, you wouldn't have turned out to be such a dick.
Jack, stop picking, you a fucking horseman!
Oh, kids are so cute when they're psychologically damaged for life, aren't they?
Okay, now.
Klinos, are you depressed?
Huh? No. Why do you ask?
Well, you're always going on about the negative sides of life.
Well, that's not actually true. I just think that taking the negative sides of life into consideration is the responsible thing to do.
Well, I think you're depressed.
Well, I'm not.
If you weren't depressed, you'd see how great life is. Depression is a choice. If you just try to be more optimistic, you'll be happier.
Depression is a choice, so people just decide that they're going to lose all motivation to do anything in life, to feel like shit and self-destruct. People actually put their hands up and say, yes, that's the life for me.
Yeah, being depressed is cool nowadays.
Okay.
So what about being more optimistic? Will you try it?
What for?
Because that will make things better.
What?
How? Because if you don't think about the bad things in life, then you'll only have positive feelings.
But that's retarded.
How is it? You're so negative.
Well, the problem is that obnoxiously bad things are going on all over the world right now. Parents mourning their children who die of starvation, thirst and disease. People getting beheaded and burnt to death. People working in slave-like conditions. Even in developed countries where people live comparatively good lives. Every single day there's an atrocity. Every single day is the worst day of someone's life. Whether I choose to ignore those facts or not doesn't change the fact that that shit still happens. Every single day. And yes, that needs to be taken into consideration when you decide to have children or not. No one has a child thinking it will become the victim of an atrocity, yet every day it happens.
Wow, I don't know what to say.
You see the point though, right? We want to believe that the world is great, so much so that we pretend that it is. But reality will slap you in the face at some point. Eventually, like it or not, whether you pretend everything is perfect or not, you will come to a realization that the capacity for shit here is unacceptable. If you can get satisfaction from your daily life, great, but don't tell me that taking the bad into consideration is the wrong way to live. Focusing on the bad is the responsible.
I see a couple people in the chat discussing the voices. To be honest, I actually like the fact he does all the voices himself. It makes it feel more authentic. And Louis saying he could have used AI. I don't think he could have used AI when this came out. I'm not sure there were AIs good enough, really, at this stage, because these were done like 10 years ago. Maybe there were text to voice AIs, but they probably would have been horseshit back then. I don't know. I don't know. I like it. I like the fact he does them all. It's more authentic for me.
Way to live. No child of mine will get cancer, depression, heart disease, anxiety, depression, or experience bereavement, loss, regret, or fear. You're so depressed. I'm not, but whether I am or not, does that invalidate anything that I've said here? Is anything I've said not true? But you always ignore the good stuff. I don't. I just don't think it makes up for the bad stuff.
Yeah, Luca just said in the chat that they're waiting for Elon to come. And like, honestly, if this series was relaunched, which I don't think is a realistic possibility anytime soon anyway, there would be so many good like characters. Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, JD Vance, and then you've got like the left wing people. You've got like Parkrose Permaculture. What other lefties have been like shitting on antinatalism? No more are coming to memory. Can anyone else think of any lefties that are of course, the leftist cooks. And there's two of them, so it's two for the price of one. Welcome to the chat, Samuel. Let's get Sam Harris. Yep, that's a very good one, Louis. Yeah. Video game says, how old is this series? About let me bring myself up. About 10 years old, I think. I think they were uploaded 10 years ago. Yeah, put in the chat if this series was done again for modern time. Well, I say modern times, it's only 10 years ago, but for now, what characters would you like to see in the series? That'd be an interesting one.
If experience is child cancer, then no, that's an infinitely expensive price to pay. I wouldn't wish bad experiences on anyone, but maybe you will witness the severity of how bad things can get one day, and then you might see my point of view.
Yeah, and maybe one day you'll snap out of this depressive chic phase, grow up, settle down, and start a family like a normal person.
Quick, turn on the TV. There's been a terrorist attack.
Oh no!
It's gone from cartoon to an actual news intro. Welcome, Dylan, to the chat.
Breaking news. We're receiving reports of a major incident at London Bridge. Reports of violence are coming in. 3 people in a large vehicle are alleged to have ploughed into pedestrians. The men are then believed to have left the vehicle and begun attacking people at random with knives. Many people are believed to have been killed, with many more...
Oh, this is actually probably based on a real one, because I think around... Yeah, maybe it was 10 years ago now, there was a London Bridge attack.
Injured. We will continue to bring you further details.
I can remember when that happened. I can remember watching it on the news. I think I was still in school then.
Details as they come in. And here's Alan with today's sports.
Isn't your daughter in London right now? Yes. Oh my god, I hope she's safe. Oh my god, this is terrible. What's wrong with people?
Well, yeah, it's a...
How can these people exist? How can anyone do such a thing?
Well, we know why these people do.
It's just incomprehensible. It's pure evil.
Yeah, but it's hardly a surprise anymore. I mean...
Oh, I hope my daughter is okay. I'll try to phone her. She's not answering. Why isn't she answering?
Well, she might just be...
Oh, how can the world be so cruel to a mother?
Well, it's not just a...
Why do I have to bring my children up in this world?
Well, it was your choice.
Glynos!
What? Look, I hope your daughter's safe, really, but you didn't have to bring your daughter up in this world, did you?
What the fuck are you talking about?
You knew the risks. You knew the potential shit that any person on this planet can unexpectedly find themselves in. You chose to enter your child into a multitude of lotteries, and yes, there will always be people to win these lotteries.
Yeah, people all the time just try to gloss over the fact that like they're responsible for their actions.
How can you use this terrorist attack to push your agenda? That's disgraceful.
No, I'm being consistent. You're being hypocritical.
How can you say such a thing at a time like this?
You are responsible for anything and everything that happens to your child, like it or not.
Oh, you are so cruel, so evil.
Take some responsibility for your fucking actions.
Oh, this world is so cruel, so callous. How can God do this to me? How can He put me through this? Oh, if anything ever happened to my daughter, I don't know what I would do.
Well, what happened to focusing on the positive? Are you depressed?
You are an utter bastard for this.
Well, you changed your tune pretty quickly. Just focus on the positive and everything will be fine, right?
My daughter could be dead, and you're telling me to focus on the positive. That will not change the fate of my daughter.
Exactly. That's the point I was making earlier.
Oh no, this is so terrible, Glynos. About the world, about all of the bad in the world. I think it's hard for me to say it, Glynos, but I think you were right. Hello? Hello? Oh, praise the Lord. Are you safe? Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, Mum loves you so much. Okay, come back as soon as possible and make sure you're safe. Okay, I love you so much. Text or phone me every 30 minutes, okay? Okay, I love you, darling. Bye-bye.
You were just saying I was what?
Oh, she's fine. Oh, that's such a relief. Everything is right in the world again.
You know there are parents going through exactly what you were just going through, right? And that some of them are never going to get to have that phone call. Some of them have had their children cruelly ripped away from them, forever. No chance to say goodbye, no chance to say anything, just ripped away in an instant of cruelty and horror. And you're saying that everything in the world is okay again?
Oh, Glynos, you're always thinking about the negative. Why can't you be more positive?
Oh, no. Hi, YouTube. This pronatalist twaddle has driven me so crazy that I've had to escape to the forest. No, I'm not here to be in touch with nature. Nature's a meat grinder where if animals don't die as soon as they're born, they're preyed upon and eaten alive, ravaged with disease, or they freeze and starve to death. There's nothing peaceful about nature. But one more interaction with a transparently dishonest fuckwit trying to rationalise their way out of an argument for the sake of saving their ego or protecting their stupid sensitivities might just drive me over the edge. At least here I'll be free from... What the fuck? Let's check it out.
I think this is an episode of Adventures of an Antinatalist. Maybe I've just edited a random video into this bigger video, but I'm pretty sure I didn't, but he never tends to talk to the camera.
Welcome, Glynos.
Is that Stephen Hawking? Okay, so now we actually have a voice not done by Glynos.
Who are you?
I am the
Oh, okay, no, it is done by Glynos. He's just put a robot effect on it.
And what do you do?
I am slow spends back
Okay. And why am I here?
for a test.
What kind of test?
I shall test it.
Huh, well, I'm pretty used to that.
Test I know whether
Okay, well, bring it on.
Oh no. Hiya, Glynos. Not what about Walter? Anyone but what about Walter? You're just scared because I'm...
Okay, Clone Granny is saying Twin Peaks. I haven't seen Twin Peaks, so I'm not going to get these references. I'm assuming this is set in a Twin Peaks world.
make you doubt your faith in antinatalism.
No, you really are giving yourself too much
But what
credit.
about all the good things in life, Glynos?
What? Why are you doing this? I say the same damn thing in every video I make. Why can't you just watch the videos and then...
Avoiding the question fallacy?
No, that's not a fallacy.
If it's not a fallacy, just answer the question.
No, because as soon as I answer the question, you'll just say, but what about X, Y, or Z, though?
You're afraid of arguments.
What? No. If you want to discuss something, you can't just say, but what about X, though?
If you weren't afraid of arguments, you wouldn't be so reluctant to answer the question, Glynos.
Alright, I'll answer the stupid question, but when I do answer the question, you have to respond to the things that I've actually said, and not just say, but what about Y, though? Okay?
Okay, Glynos. So, what about all the good things in life?
Well, it's pretty simple. For the millionth time, having pleasurable states of mind is better than having painful states of mind by definition. But just conceding the fact that there are both pleasant and unpleasant states is not the same as saying that they're equal in value. There are some asymmetries here. Priority has to be given to the alleviation or prevention of negative states. In a case, for example, where a bunch of jackass kids bully some little ginger kid, the pleasure the jackass kids get from bullying is irrelevant. We should seek to stop the ginger kid being tormented. The principle is quite simple. It's better to forego unnecessary pleasures to spare unnecessary suffering. We accept this in almost every aspect of ethics. Why should it be any different with regards to reproductive ethics?
But what about kids in India?
What?
Kids in India!
No, you don't get to do this.
I've got you, Glynos.
No, we agreed that I would answer a question and you would deal with it. Not just say, what about X, though?
You can't do it, can you, Glynos?
Can't do what?
You know the fact that there are kids in India who, through our lens, should be struggling and depressed, are actually glad to be alive and love life. That fact disproves everything that you believe.
No, it doesn't.
I think I've won this point, Glynos. Kids living in poverty in the third world are always glad they were born, and not antinatalist. Never a miscommunication.
But that only shows that they have strong, powerful psychological drives. The fact that people report that they're glad to have been born isn't the same as saying that those lives were worth starting. But I'm not going to play this stupid whataboutism with you.
No, go on, Glynos. You started making your point. You can't back out now just because you've lost your train of thought.
Lost my train of thought?
You've obviously mid-sentence realised that what you're saying is utter bullshit, and now you're just trying to backtrack and pretending that that's not what you're doing by accusing me of whataboutism. If you had a real argument, Glynos, you'd make it.
Oh, no. Okay, I'll do this one what about question, but then you're going to address the points that I've made, okay?
Yeah, of course, Glynos.
So the question of whether a person is glad to have been born is at best a misleading one. People who are alive see their hypothetical not having been born as some kind of deletion of their self. That had they not been born, their positive experiences would not have taken place. And because there's already a person who has experienced these positives, they think that the lack of those positives constitute a deprivation. But that's really not true. For if there were no person being born in the first place, there would be no person to miss out on those experiences. I mean, also there are good reasons in psychology for why people might say that they're glad to be alive, or that they're overall living good lives. There are all sorts of stigmas around talking about negative emotional states. Depression is still seen as some kind of weakness or as
Fucking hell, this is one hell of a monologue.
met with distrust among people without depression. Even when people come clean about their depression, they're often accused of being dramatic, seeking attention, or told that they have nothing really to be depressed about. People also have a tendency towards conformity and believe that if others say that they're more or less happy to have come into existence, then they should say the same too, in order not to stand out and be different. There are also deeper issues such as optimism bias and adaptation. The question of whether bringing new beings into existence is good or not cannot be answered just by asking if people are glad to have been born, for the psychological reasons I've mentioned above, and also because of the fact that we can't ask people who have gone through death just how great being alive is. Or was.
But what about cancer patients?
No, you're not doing this again.
But you said we can't get the points of view of people who have gone through death, but we can get the points of view of people who are dying, and that has to count for something.
No, you said you deal with the content of my argument.
But you haven't finished and you've made an erroneous statement.
Look, there are good reasons why some people who are dying may give stoic or brave remarks, but there's no point in me explaining because you'll just say, but what about and what about
I've got you again there, you're just pretending pretending that you have arguments, but you know you don't. That's why you won't give them.
I just don't think there's any point in me wasting my time explaining things if you're not going to do anything with my argument other than find somewhere to ask, but what about but what about
No, that's not what I'm doing at all.
Well, what about the time when you asked, what about kids in India? Or what about dying cancer patients?
No, I had good reasons for that, Glynos, because I needed you to expand on the claim.
And what about you not responding to my arguments?
Well, I was going to, but first I just needed you to
What?
do the...
I was going to, but what about Thomas Metzinger's being no one, where he claimed that there was no I, that the things that make up you or I are constantly changing, memories and plans are being added and deleted, opinions changing over time, and that if we were to take a snapshot of anything meaningful that makes you you at the age of 14 and another one at the age of 40, we would see almost nothing, if anything, in common. So how does that make you you or I? What about that?
Well, yeah, I mean... He makes some good points, but for the sake of convenience in language, I think we should...
Language? Well, what about Wittgenstein's view on the limitation of language? That given that we all have our own unique experiences, we can never use language to accurately express what we really think or feel, because every person will have a slightly different association to every different word.
Fuck me, this is going deep.
Glynos, you can't just always ask him, like, what about...
But what about the trash compactor in a new home?
Oh, God.
Fucking prick. Oh my God.
That one was really confusing. This one might be interesting though. So it's an antinatalist at what looks like a pro-life march.
So, what's going on?
We're here to defend the millions of babies that are being murdered each and every year.
Wow, baby murder. That sounds pretty terrible. Who's doing this?
It's the feminists and their cut-beater male boyfriends are helping them.
Huh?
Cultural Marxism has co-opted people into creating a white genocide.
You what?
Obviously, they can't just go around murdering people in the streets, so they murder all the whites in the womb.
In the room?
No, in the womb.
Oh no. So this is an anti-abortion rally?
Well, abortion is just the PC cuck leftist term. This is murder, plain and simple.
I mean, I understand that you feel strongly about this, but I think it's an exaggeration to call it murder. I mean, especially when we take into account...
The truth is the truth, mate, right? And there are babies inside these women's stomachs, and we've made it legal to kill those babies. The dictionary defines murder as the intentional killing of another human. What do you think they have in their bellies? Baby cats? Dogs? Cows? No, baby fucking humans, and we're intentionally killing them, so it's murder.
I mean, well, if you're going to play the dictionary game, my thesaurus lists newborn as a synonym for baby. So those beings which exist inside a woman's womb thus cannot be babies, as they haven't been born yet.
You're such a fucking cultural Marxist, regressive liberal. You can't just base your whole argument on what a dictionary or a thesaurus says.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of the point.
This guy is basically Jordan Peterson, but with, like, I don't know how you'd put it. Bit more rough and ready, should we say.
Point that I was making.
Listen, mate, just follow the logic, right? It's wrong to kill living things. The beings in women's stomachs are living things.
I bet it's about to get onto veganism.
Therefore, abortion is murder.
So, by extension of that logic, you would be vegan then?
You what?
Well, if it's wrong to kill living...
This actually happened. So the 3-part series I mentioned that's going to be coming out soon. The first part is coming out on Sunday. In the second part, there's a pro-life guy who's involved in the video, and we literally get into this exact conversation.
Things, and the beings that you pay to kill are living things, then paying to have those animals killed is murder.
You make me laugh. Look in the fucking dictionary, mate. It clearly defines murder as the intentional killing of another human. Last time I checked, cows, pigs, sheep and chickens were not humans.
Oh no. Look, I think we both agree that solely relying on dictionaries to make a case for or against an ethical issue is not the most productive path to the truth, right? Alright, so it's far more useful firstly to lay out what is right and wrong and what are the justifications for saying those things are right and wrong, then to see if there are any mitigating circumstances that would allow wrong actions to be undertaken. Don't you think so? Okay. So, what is right and wrong and what are your justifications for saying those things are right and wrong?
No, mate. I know what you're doing.
Huh?
It's easy for you to get me to explain my position and then just attack it. You're like CNN and the mainstream media. Okay, well, how about I lay out my justifications and then you tell me where you think I've gone wrong? No. I know what you're doing. CNN do this all the time. First they give you their faulty leftist Soros premises, and then they use pseudo-logic to make false conclusions. But I just offered you the chance to... Gish Gallop. What? Gish Gallop. What do you mean? Red herring. But you're just saying words. No, I'm calling you out on your logical fallacies. No, you're not. You're just stating the names of different logical fallacies. Cognitive dissonance. You know that just stating different logical fallacies and aspects of motivated reasoning isn't the same as actually proving someone wrong, right? The problem with you leftist cut-better Soros soy boys is that you live in an echo chamber full of buzzwords, and you run away from having any real debates. Well, I'm not running away from any debate. Quite the opposite. I've offered to have a conversation. You spend all of your time in safe spaces on college campuses talking about different gender rights, trying to deplatform anyone that has a different view. You're afraid of listening to other people's views. But I've asked you
Thanks for joining the stream video game.
to explain your views and you wouldn't. And you don't have any views of your own. At least you can't back them up with reason and logic like me. But I've offered to explain my views and it was you who wouldn't listen. Ha, you fucking faggot. Oh, oops. Are you offended by that? No? Yes, you are. Go and tell your professor. Or call the cops for hate speech, you fucking faggot. So, are we gonna talk about abortion or no? Nah, fucking fag is triggered. I wouldn't even rape you. Okay then.
Oh, now he's going to a pro-choice march. Interesting.
Oh, you wouldn't believe this dickhead I just spoke to. Pro-lifer, was he? Oh, yeah. Fucking sexist, misogynistic idiots. The lot of them. Yeah, I guess resistance to abortion definitely has some roots in misogyny and sexism, no doubt. What do you mean? Well, I just think that if suddenly men were the ones who had to give birth, the situation surrounding birth control and abortion would probably be very different. No. What do you mean by some roots? Well, I'm sure some of the opposition to abortion is just founded in things like religion or just faulty reasoning. I mean, wouldn't it just be too simplistic to say that they're all just women haters and that's why they're against abortion? No. Religion is a tool of the patriarchy, and it's as is faulty reasoning. I smell a rat. You sure you are not a pro-lifer, are you? Me? Oh, jeebus, no. So you're pro-choice then? Well, it might sound a bit odd, but I actually support the pro-death view. Although the name of the argument is a little provocative. What the hell? What is the pro-death view? Well, the basic idea is just that coming into existence will always be a harm to that individual who comes into being, and especially in the early stages of pregnancy, a fetus has no interests in continuing to exist, and doesn't exist in an ethically relevant sense anyway. So whilst having an abortion may carry with it for some psychological pain or maybe some backlash from society, it's a small price to pay for the counterfactual harm of bringing into existence a being that will inevitably suffer and die, and will possibly endure extreme suffering and die horribly. So you are not pro-choice at all then, are you? Well, I'm all for making available safe and legal abortion. You want to tell women what they can and can't do with their own bodies? No, I'm just trying to put forward an argument as to what the most ethical thing to do is if you're in a situation where... Fuck you and fuck your ethics. Women's body, women's choice. You patriarchal, Trump-loving, misogynistic, racist, homophobic prick. Good. Excellent. Great.
Oh, so that was the end. Oh, let me change. So that was all of them. So that was Adventures of an Antinatalist. Those later ones that were in like different political settings, that was quite interesting. It would be cool like if more of those were done, going to like, you know, maybe there's there's a US election campaign at the moment, you know, maybe doing one where you go to a Trump rally and going to a I was going to say a Kamala Harry, but I was mixing up her last name and rally. Yeah, that would be interesting. What did people think of it? What did people think of Adventures of an Antinatalist? I enjoyed it. It was just as good as I thought it was going to be. I've been waiting for a long time to watch it. But yeah, what did everyone think? I know about 50% of people already knew about it, But for those people who had never seen it, what did they think? Let me know. Whilst you guys are letting me know, I am going to put something in the chat for you. So hang around for just a bit longer and I will put something in the chat which will be of interest. So we've got Void Occupant saying it's nostalgic. And we've got Tobias. Welcome, Tobias, to the chat. Sven is also in the chat. Welcome, Sven. I think you guys are the only two new ones. Tobias is asking how old I am. Well, that leads me on to what I was about to put in the chat, which is the live stream coming up. It's not scheduled yet because it's when we hit 5,000 subscribers. There's going to be an Ask Me Anything live stream. Ask me almost anything. So I'm just putting the link in the chat now. You can submit questions there. If you want to know how old I am, you know, this is not one of the big questions of the universe, but put it in that form and all will be revealed in the Ask Me Anything, Almost Anything live stream. So let's see if anyone else said anything. So Bovine Blue Stocking said, really enjoyed this. Thanks, Lawrence. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Evie said that she enjoyed it. Nice one, Evie. Cool. If anyone else is going to say anything, say it now. Void Occupant says, motherfuckers need to sub so that we can get the Q&A. Exactly. If you're not subscribed already, then please do subscribe and you can get us to 5,000 and then we can have the live stream fundraiser. So just to show you a bit more, I'll actually share my screen and you can see. So this is it here. Ask Me Anything. Almost at 5,000 subscribers. We've just got a bit to go. Let's see if it shows. Yep. 4.77k basically. And also, interestingly, nearly on 300 videos as well. But yes, so we'll be scheduling this Ask Me Anything live stream. That link is in the chat, so submit your questions there. We've already got quite a lot of questions, to the point where I don't know if we're going to be able to go over all of them. Otherwise, it's going to be too long a stream. But it depends how long I take to answer them. But definitely put them in the form, and hopefully we can get to all of them. Cool. Well, Tobias really wants to know. Tobias is really going to have to fill out that form. But cool. Okay, I think that is everything. Thank you everyone for joining me in watching Adventures of an Antinatalist. Thank you for Glynos for putting it together. What an absolute legend. And Etruska, that is extremely offensive. I can tell you I'm not 30 years old. Okay, you say something around 30. I'll let you off then. I'll let you off. Cool. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see everyone in the next live stream, which at present is scheduled for in a couple of weeks, where we'll be going after going over the 3-part mega outreach conversation videos that will be coming out in 3 stages. How dare you, Bovine Blue Stocking? Anna keeps meaning to submit a question, but forgets. Do it now, or get it open in a tab. Tobias, you're going the wrong direction. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Now you can see the holes in my jumper. Jesus, this jumper is so old, I'm telling you. Cool. All right. I will see everyone in the next one.